It's the day before my big chemistry exam. That one paper is worth half my grade. But I still had so much to study, literally half the syllabus. I had two options: wake up early the next morning and grind, or pull an all nighter and be like my friend who gets like 8 hours of sleep in 3 days. Because I'm a pussy, I chose the former and somehow barely got an A. I'm pretty dumb, but I've also been pretty sleep deprived before, and I conducted a sort of literal study in my Discord where I got dozens of recounts from people who have pulled an all-nighter before to support my facts. So here's what happens to you when you do pull an all-nighter. The only thing I can pull besides a push door. Before we get to what actually happens, there's something you should probably know. There's no one right way to sleep. Just a quick Google search for sleep and you'll find like a slew of articles telling you need to stop doing this, start doing that, or buy my product for only $99. Like, not enough sleep, not having a bedtime routine, not sleeping in the right position while in bed. Okay, Isaac is gonna take that out of context. People tell you your life will end faster if you're not getting enough sleep, and while they are not wrong, this leads to what I call the sleep paradox. Basically, you know how when you try to sleep, right? You take even longer to sleep. The problem lies in just that, trying to fall asleep. Because when you try to do something, right, your brain just assumes that there's a problem and it releases just a tad bit of adrenaline, which leads to you being aroused. And when you're aroused, you can't fall asleep. I just explained to you in like 20 seconds why trying to fall asleep doesn't work. No problem, bro. And now back to what was promised. Originally, when you pull an all-nighter, right, and not a push door, you're going against your body's circadian rhythms, which is basically the clock inside your body telling the brain when to feel awake or secrete melatonin, which makes you feel sleepy. Humans are literally the only animals that can go against their circadian rhythm, by the way, other than like you social insects or something. So let's start this story. It's 9:30 p.m., like 2 hours before your normal bedtime. And the coffee's been working pretty well, I must say. It's an hour or two before your bedtime that the brain starts secreting melatonin, this hormone that makes you feel sleepy. Usually you'd feel sleepy by now, but nope, because adenosine that gets released throughout the day gets blocked by caffeine from binding to your receptors. Basically, the more adenosine that touches your receptors, the more tired you feel. But as of right now, you're motivated, you're gassing through your notes. All these shit is going into your brain, you know. And then 11 p.m. hits, your normal bedtime now. Considering you're not a League of Legends player, that's probably your bedtime. The adenosine builds up a lot here, and this is when you start to feel off and very drowsy. Your brain's like, whoa, that right there kind of looks like a face. And look at this embarrassing moment from like 8 years ago. And I think it's time to message her again. You know, maybe. And look, maybe it's time for you to go gulp another cup of coffee, for real. 1 a.m. Damn, like these notes are really going to your brain. They are being stored in this area of the brain called the hippocampus. And I'll save you 10 minutes of science yapping here. It's just basically the part of the brain that handles short-term memory, like how I handle. When you sleep, it gets stored into other parts of your brain for long-term memory. But whoops, you got no sleep. Good thing you only need these for tomorrow, man. Then you can forget about them already. 3 a.m. Now you're really tired. And no matter how much coffee you drink, your motor skills just don't seem to be functional. In the dozens of responses I got, it was about a few hours before the morning hits when they all felt the worst, and they just didn't feel like I was worth it at all. Your cognitive ability goes down, even worse than a literal drunk person. Like, literal drunks on the side of the road have better motor skills and are more alert than you now. A lot of responses reported feeling your brain in the back of your head, basically a no bueno feeling if you want me to sum it up. You also fall into micro sleeps a lot, periods of a few seconds of sleep before you wake yourself up again and remind yourself that, hey, you saw this big chemistry chapter you need to study, and oh hey, there's another one, there's actually two, by the way. 5 a.m. and you feel like literally dying. You can't focus on anything and everything's just happening without you realizing, according to one fella, and many others reported something similar to, okay, but blood really just doom scrolled during this time while his eyes are literally half open, like what the hell. Oh yeah, apparently another guy shit himself, like I'm not even joking. I'm not gonna put that as a symptom of sleep deprivation, but okay, noted bro. 7 a.m. The sun rises and melatonin release is stopped, and you actually feel kinda good. I've got science data and personal accounts to back this up, no matter how counterintuitive it sounds. You leave for the exam hall in a good mood, but you also trip on a rock, because even though your dopamine got a spike, your cognitive abilities are still kinda mid because your brain doesn't have rest. You almost get hit by a car in the literal school campus. It's exam time and so far everything's going better than you expected. You ace the definition questions because all that info you got earlier that was stored in your hippocampus is still there. But then the paper starts giving explanation questions. The 7-mark experimental one, and your brain goes blank because the ideas that are in your hippocampus, right, only get linked when you sleep. So your brain has all this information but can't make connections between the information. And so you do worse than if you are just studied in the morning. You're pissed off, but at least the exam is over. If you're a non-league player, you have friends. And if you have friends and exam season just ended, you'll probably want to hang out with them, right? Everyone's chill, but your friends notice something's off. I could mention like 5 different parts of the brain to sound smart and be all smart, like. Yeah, I could do that to sound smart and get you to subscribe or something, but really it's just your brain isn't right after an all-nighter, if you get what I mean. And your emotions go haywire. Something to do with the amygdala that would take 10 whole minutes to explain. You're anxious for no reason, upset you did bad on the paper, and a lot more irritable. But all your friends can tell you're sleep deprived, so they let it slide, they let it slide. And after that, you decide to head home, take a shower, I hope, and then sleep. You fall asleep immediately, no shit, and after one night, you already feel better. For my responses, it took an average of 3 days to fully get back to normal. But if you just pull one all-nighter, it isn't gonna cut your life in half or anything. Okay, it's not gonna cut your life in half. But if you want better grades, right, please keep a consistent sleep schedule. It's been proven in literally every study that on average, people with better sleep schedules get higher grades than those without. Moral of the story is don't pull an all-nighter, and if I just wanted ad revenue, I'd end the video here honestly. Here's an actionable step that will actually improve your life if you do take it to heart. Take me to your heart. For today, just take down your bedtime. Like before you get into bed, write it down on a piece of paper. That's all you have to do, that's it. And then for tomorrow, we're gonna make that 10 minutes earlier, and we're gonna do 10 minutes earlier every day for a whole week. Here's an analogy to help. Think of being late to your sleep time like being late to meet a friend. Imagine you and your friend agreed to meet at like 2:30 p.m, right? But instead you show up at 3 p.m. You would feel guilty, right? But you don't feel guilty when you show up 30 minutes late to your bedtime. Think about all the benefits sleep gives you. Improved mood, focus, health, decision making, and whatnot. If sleep was a drug, it would be literally banned. So why would you not want to take advantage of it? I'll leave you with that. You can have good sleep but do any of these and you probably won't like the results. So yeah, you should probably know what they are, right? And I hope you'll join me on this journey of chill self-improvement, brother. See ya.